All right, hi y'all. It's the man in the shack. Today I want to take a look at continuing to look at the models for the chosen version of the Joe character pool, and this time I want to look at the 1984 Joes, a small class compared to some of the others, but it was important. It was definitely the one that had the most visibility for me toy wise. It was kind of prime time for me that year. Um, anyway, just to go through these real quick, I've been able to have some significant improvements. One of my favorite improvements of all is in here, and a lot of these others were, already had pretty good designs, and I was able, for the most part, to preserve this stuff. So, Blowtorch, first to start with, was one of my favorite early ones, just because this pattern of the red on the over the red over the yellow, like the red armor pieces over the yellow. It's not exactly like it is on this figure, but it's pretty darn close in terms of it being all over the arms and the legs. He's all vanilla parts. This is all pieces that came with with the game, and it just happens to work out really well. If there is no way to get the gas mask to be yellow, I've tried that a number of different ways, and this one looks the best without, because a lot of the other, there's a ton of gas masks, but a lot of them are very intrusive, stick out a lot or whatever, and this looks about right. The only problem is he actually shares that with Ripcord, but it's not that big of a deal. So here's Cutter, and this is pretty much the design that I've had for Cutter for a long time. The baseball cap is the most important thing. That there should be a Red Sox logo on there. I wish there was a way to do that. There's not, but someday somebody may decide they want to make a bunch of baseball caps and put team logos on them and shit. And on that day, I'll change Cutter. But for the most part, this of course is not a life jacket, but these high straps on here make it feel that way. And of course, you sort of put your eyes back and it's like, okay, here's orange and he's got blue. The blue, his pants should be navies instead of this lighter blue. I have tried different ways of doing the color, and it looks better on the lighter end. If there were pants that could force to the navy, I would use those. But as it is, I think it's all right. The guy looks like Cutter. I think it's a neat. I think this is a neat model for a guy who's not, doesn't usually have the most visibility on the team. And speaking of which, here's a guy you hardly ever see. It's Deep Six. I've gone in different directions with him. This one is actually based more off of some later releases of Deep Six's figure, because of course his deal was he had the big clunky suit. He had the whole the diving suit that was like he didn't move. It was just a suit, and his head was in there. You could sort of move his arms, but they would only move in one direction, and he couldn't move his legs at all. He was like a less good version of the snake armor. The only thing you could really do is put him in the shark. And he couldn't, he didn't work with any of the other accessories or anything. So a good bit later, they had given him a reissue and put him in this kind of more sleek diving suit, which is what I've kind of made this want to feel like. It's not quite as it's not quite as overt as torpedoes, rather, to say that it's that it's trying to look like he's actually about to jump in the water. Uh, you know, because Deep Six is more of a well, he's a submariner, so he's got to have a pressure suit more than he's got to have more than it's some neoprene diving suit or something like that. This helmet with this open face that evokes the sort of the headpiece that he had on that second figure. The colors, there's different ways of going about this, and in the end I just stuck with this sort of dark thing. My sort of thought of him in this game is that he's one of the really few like super stealth guys, because that was his deal. That was the Shark. Is he was and like if this guy, if there's anybody on the team that's a lone wolf guy, it's that guy. And this suit sort of says I'm this dark thing or whatever. I am the night. Okay, so Mutt was another guy that I had a lot of hard times with at first. He was one of the first Joes that I tried to make, and I didn't have a lot of success with him at first. But it was when I figured out that if you these reverse regular pieces, and I don't like this thing with the that. But it's like the red thing that's on his shoulder. It really only should be on one shoulder, but that's okay. In the end, it's like it feels that same way. His pants should be brown. Let's try something real quick. Let's see if we can force it brown. See, something like that almost. See, there's a lot more in these War of the Chosen versions. There's a lot more of the ones that are. Brown pants versus having stuff on them. Does he need pockets more than he needs a different color? I'm going with this. Brown pants, green shirt, red splash, black helmet, muzzle. And his face is kind of iconic. I wish that I could have the muzzle sort of around his neck, like it's not on, but it's too. Let's see. Lower face prop muzzle. Ooh. See. It looks like him. So I'd like to have the muzzle sort of like hanging down here or something. That would be really cool. But as it is, I feel like it's that the muzzle makes it more iconically Mutt than a face that looks like Mutt's. Because there's a lot of guys with a mustache, and there's used that face C a lot too. Okay, so next is Recondo. He's improved a lot from his old version. The colors are all. I'm very, very happy with almost every aspect of this. He's got a collared shirt. These should be short sleeves or rolled up sleeves like Duke's, but this is the one that looks the best with it. His hat is now green instead of camouflage. Before, I could only get it to be camouflaged, but because of these legs. Like I said, there's lots of legs that have their own color and just stay that way. Here's some camouflage legs that basically approximate his. So I can take the camouflage off, give him the correct shirt without camouflage, get it the correct color, also give him the correct hat. This was always this is the perfect hat, but with the side up like that. That's this is it's exactly his. This is a very, very close Recondo model, very much so, more than it used to be. And of course, the mustache, the little twirly up mustache thing like that, is one that came along with that same big mustache that I used for somebody like Wild Bill. Very happy. He's one of the best successes out of this whole batch. And of course, he's got a little backpack just like his. Yeah. From here on, silence. Recondo. Okay, so Ripcord, see, with the same face mask as same helmet and face mask as Blowtorch, with a different coloration. Actually, his helmet should in fact be black. Just now thinking of that. But other than that, Ripcord is a simple camouflage with a big backpack like Airborne. The paratroopers, it's not that this isn't a parachute backpack, but it's a great big backpack, and that's sort of like that's what you need to see on Ripcord. He's a behind the enemy lines kind of guy, so he needs to have a bunch of gear, and his and you've got black web gear over a basic green camouflage, and he's got like these. I don't know if these are exactly jumping pants, but these like evoke that sort of these seem right. Covering his legs, and of course the same camouflage pattern all over him. So. Yeah, pretty simple design. And if I do go in and do this, I'm using the 1980s, orange-haired dude original conception of Ripcord. This is the Ripcord that appeared in G.I. Joe number 32, not the later incarnation. Although I like the later incarnation that they made, first for the live action movie, and then sort of copying that design for G.I. Joe Renegades. That that was a good reimagining. Both of those were, in fact. But this is the '80s team, and so we're going with. Now I can probably find the gas mask. I wonder if there's a straight up black helmet that I can quickly fix this up. See, there's stuff. See, it's almost like a big helmet like that with. I could do that one. That helmet with a gas mask. See, something like that might work too. There it is. That's the one. There we go. That is the same gas mask that I already like on him. And a black helmet instead of a camouflage helmet. So that is actually a better Ripcord. Yes, indeed. Alright, there you go. We'll have fix. Now, my favorite thing in this entire thing is that I can make Roadblock truly the tallest one there is. 57. Nobody else is going to be that height. His design is otherwise. This is pretty much the same as it was. I've been using this top as the sort of like tank top type of thing, and his pants are real basic. So any pair of pants that's not decorated so much, again, it's just to get the colors right. You got this about the shade of orangey brown pants, and that kind of lively big camouflage on the shirt, and bare arms, and I actually gave him, why did I give him that? He shouldn't have that. His left arm should be just a bare arm, not an ammo gauntlet. A knuckle duster, that's good. Okay. So the only other thing I did is I added the torso gear on, so that it's not just the plain shirt. He actually does have like straps like that. Plus, he's carrying the thing around. He needs something to put, to strap it on. So I think that works. And he truly does look tall, and I think it's great. Yeah, there's a Roadblock. So Spirit is a design that I've always felt was compromised because there is no loincloth, and there's never going to be. But we could still get a pretty good look for him. The big deal with him is that red bandana makes it. It kind of like that says, okay, yeah, it's Spirit, because it breaks it up. I've got the blue shirt, the brown pants, and the red. So color is correct. This little bit here, I'm not happy with that at all. But this was the best compromise I can make. He needs to have. This is the same kind of shirt that Hawk has and that Recondo has. A few others use this doc. Just basically the collared shirt needs to use one of these torsos because there's not any other shirts with collars. Spirit cannot, like, there's some guys that I can, like Breaker, that I can sort of say, okay, well, I mean, they're going to wear long sleeves. Spirit can't wear long sleeves. That doesn't feel right at all. So the only thing I could do was kind of go with the only good pair of short sleeves that I had that fit color-wise with the rest of it. And something else will come along at some point, and I'll be able to close that up. But I think this is a fairly strong model for Spirit. Otherwise, I can look at it and I know that's Spirit. So it's not like he's it's not like we've suffered too badly. And of course, it would be nice to get 2 braids instead of 1 braid. That's kind of a nitpick. But there we go. Of course, I'd love to have him have a gremlin to act like to be his freedom. Lastly, here's Thunder, a really underused character. He came with the, but I had him because I had the Slugger, which was a really cool tank. So the challenge with Thunder, there was a few of them when we were first starting out with this thing. This helmet comes with, I don't remember which thing that this helmet comes with, but it's a great one. It's nearly perfectly his. If there was like some antennas that I could stick on the sides of them, that'd be a little bit better. But as it is, it's got the great big. It's like the helmet is supposed to feel too big. Too big on him, right? It makes him look like he's got a huge head, and it's got shit sticking out the side, and he's got big ass. He's got big goggles, This is a very busy helmet with lots of that same kinds of elements on it. Very happy with it. And then other than that, Thunder has a brown shirt with green armor over it, and this is approximately the same green as the helmet, and then black pants, another one of the 3 color guys. Here we have a set of legs that are always this color, that are always this sort of dark gray. That's good enough for me as far as the black. And then with the primary and secondary colors, I can just worry about the brown and the green and get those right. The green I did to match the helmet as well as I could. The brown is a decent, kind of, real rich earthy brown that is like, Thunder's paint job on his figure. And I think it works out real well. Give him a grenade launcher and have him lob shit at things. And there you got your Thunder. Okay, so running back through them real quick. That's all of them. That's our 9 guys. We got Blowtorch, Cutter, Deep Six, Mutt, no junkyard, Recondo, Ripcord with his new black helmet, Giant Roadblock, Spirit with his compromised shoulder and no loincloth, and a Thunder that I'm really, really happy with. That's 1984. I'll go back and do some more a different time.